Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 12 of Fabrically Speaking Live. I'm your host, Clare Rowley, inventor of the Creative Feet line of sewing machine products. And today I'm going to teach you how to make a zipper pouch. But before I do that, I'm going to finish a little bit of the applique and do it in more than one way. This is something that I worked on off camera. However, if you want to learn how to applique like you see on this, you can watch Season 10. And on that episode, there's a pillow that I appliqued that you see on the shelf over here, or you can't really see it. This one here. So this was 2 episodes ago, and you'll learn how to do this applique. And then last week, I showed how to construct the pillow. If you're new to the show, it is a live show, and I really enjoy it. If you participate in the chat, I will keep up with it as best I can, as I also get my eyes on the sewing machine. And hi, Cynthia. I already see a lot of my regulars in here. And Lorinda and Susan Vetter, Cynthia Purdue, Sandy Flynn. Hi, I think this is your second time watching. Sanja Stormo. And let's see here. I feel like my son is watching in the background. Do you think he is? Let's see here. Tina J, Gianni Damarie. Am I saying that right? I'm probably not doing as good a job as you could. Let's see here. So you're all knowing each other now, huh? Hi, Sandy. Okay. So I hope you guys all had a nice weekend. Those of you who joined me for the VIP, whatever you want Claire to sew Saturday, last Saturday, thank you for joining me. It was a great time. I had so much fun. And they got to see some stuff that no one has ever seen before. That's part of being on the VIP group. Now, last week, when I filmed the applique, I was using an upholstery fabric. And upholstery fabrics frequently have stuff. I'm not sure what they put on the back. Some of it's just so slippery that our hold light did not hold on it. But this is proof that it does hold onto the fabric, as I was able to applique all of that without having to re-iron. And the hold light is our hummingbird stabilizer. And when I say that, all of our stabilizers come with an animal on the label. That way you know that you're getting our brand, and also the name of the product. Well, you don't have to think about it. You can just call and say, I need some dragonfly, or can I get some panda bear today? And I hope that you guys enjoy not having to remember the name of something, unless remembering the name of the animal is a challenge for you. I'm doing really well. Thank you, Facebook user. Now, if you want me to say your name, inside of Facebook, there are 3 dots on the top of the screen, 3 little dots, and you click on that, and then go to Manage Group Apps, click on that, and inside of there, you tell it to give StreamYard, which is the service that I'm using to go live to you today, or with you today, and just tell them, yes, you give StreamYard permission to show me who you are, and then I'll be able to see your name, at least. If you have a picture in your Facebook, I'll see your picture as well. And for those of you on YouTube, if your picture's not showing, it simply means you never uploaded one to your account on YouTube. But I can see everybody's name showing on the YouTubers. So welcome, everybody. And I'm doing really well. I feel great. My diet is working, and yep, in a smaller size pant today. So nothing can go wrong. I haven't decided how big to make my bag yet. This is an actual project I was doing just to film new video for our website. And I decided I'm going to turn it into something with you guys today. And it wouldn't be like me if I didn't take it a little bit above just sewing a pouch. So we're going to quilt this as well. Thank you, Tina. I did on the VIP group, I did give you guys the permissions now to go and watch the video. So if you missed Saturday's episode, you can watch it. All right. Okay, here we go. I feel so good because, you know, I have 5 cameras and I have regular internet. And I'm hoping when I watch this after that the cameras all look really good. So I thought I'd kind of give you a little view of the different camera angles. We have our top, which will get better because I'm going to make it go straight down from above soon. And there's some issue with its lighting. So that will be better next week. And then we have this one. And this is the one I've been wanting so that you can see when I adjust the feet, like turning the little nut on the foot, and I can hold up the needles and you can read what I'm actually going to be using today, which is the Super Universal 9014 needle, because we're going to be quilting with this. And why am I using it? It is a Teflon coated, or I'm not sure if it's Teflon. It's got a coating on it that resists stickiness. Now, we're not going to be using an adhesive product, but when your needle exits your fabric, sometimes the fabric lifts up with the needle, and the Super Universal resists that, making it ideal for quilting. On this, I thought I would show going around a small circle because I don't think you guys have ever seen that before. And that's pretty small. Let's see if I can give you something to compare it. Well, pearls and piping foot next to it. Pretty small. The next camera angle is from the side. So you'll be able to see my hand positioning, and you'll be able to see the fabric come off and see the stitching come out from the back. And there is my little hippopotamus. I need to touch him up. He got a little chip. This is the jungle machine. Those of you who watch every week, last week I had my ocean machine. And I have decided that it's too dark for all the photography we're doing for our website, which is why I switched to it. I love the surface color of this one. Do you guys like this machine? Hi, Janny. You're trying to find a lined zipper bag. Let's see here. Come on. With box corners, with a pocket on the outside and inside. Huh. Let's see how I feel. It's really not that hard to add a pocket. I just have to think. But I have protein shake and I had breakfast. Are you guys all snacked up? Do you guys all agree with Janny? Should I do that? Should I add pockets? It is going to be lined, but I was going to quilt through the lining. I don't have to do that though. We also have the cell phone for really, really close-up angles, which it's not set up for right now. So there shouldn't be anything you can't see today. All right, Cynthia agrees with you. Yes, please, says Sanja. All right. Are you guys ganging up on me? You're trying to keep me here for 6 hours today. Did any of you watch the entire 6-hour when I did a pop-up show a couple weeks ago? If you haven't seen it, it is inside of the school. And if you don't know the school, it is at the top of the chat. There's a link for it. And at the end, I will do the same thing. I'll give you the link again. And inside of there, you can watch the whole thing, and you're not inside of YouTube. You're inside of the school. So you won't have commercials pop up. And I got this hoop dirty. I don't really want to show it, which means I need another one. Trying to remember where I put them all. Let's see. Do you guys forget where you put things? I got lots of zippers in that drawer. Where are they? There we go. There's a clean one. The Octi-Hoops are what we're going to use to quilt. How many of you already have the Octi-Hoops? If you do, hit thumbs up. And please tell people in the chat how you feel about them. And that reminds me of our website. We now have reviews on our website. If you haven't been there yet, it's creativefeet.com. And you have the opportunity to win a $100 gift card if you go to creativefeet.com and you review. The more reviews you do, the better your chances of winning one of the gift cards that we are giving away. So not just one winner. Will you be one of the winners? Will you? And thank you all that have already done reviews. I have to use tissue when I read them because some of you have made me cry. This might make a nice pocket inside. Let's see, which camera is the best one for doing that kind of thing? We could use this as an inside pocket. I've already got it formed because I was going to show how to stitch top stitches. And I can always make another one of these. All right, so here we go. I didn't finish this. And you can see here where I actually did an applique enhancement, which is just stitching on top of the fabric. Have any of you ever sewn on top of fabric a zigzag stitch and had it tunnel? So if you, for instance, maybe you want to do a cat and you want to put whiskers, this foot allows you to stitch even out into the vulnerable single layer fabric using the foot, and it won't tunnel the fabric. Let's see, should I bring the cell phone on and show you how to adjust it? I tried to keep everything so you couldn't see the other cameras. There's my little toucan. That's what I get to see as I sew. All right, so I did this last time and I let it lean. Whoopsie. It wouldn't be my show if things weren't falling. And that's because I have a bad habit of putting a whole bunch of stuff in front of the machine. There we go. Okay. So how I set up the foot for this. I know a lot of you are really frustrated with your wooden pressers rolling off the table. And if you don't know what a wooden presser is, it's one of these. And I currently have no back orders. I got all my orders out. So if you're waiting on one, it's on its way. And this is the tiger wood. And every once in a while, I auction off a hand-painted one like this. Now, this takes me hours and hours to do. Good reason to join our newsletter. So you get information when I do things like that. So you have a chance to bid on one of those, should you want a hand-painted one. All right, I think I got everything I need. What is holding this fabric down onto that is our dragonfly stabilizer, also known as Fuse and Fuse, and it irons onto the back side of your fabric. You can trace and print on it, and that makes it so that you can then peel off the paper and then position your pieces on top of the material, and it permanently holds it down. So if you've ever tried to do an applique before and had your pieces lift up, it wasn't our stabilizer. See how well that holds? I got the noisy chair. I got to invest in a new chair. Or figure out how to make that, not make that noise. Oh, you love the hand-painted one, Cynthia? Lynn is not in here, but she has two. She actually commissioned one of them for me. So this is my owl bag. And this has traveled to, I don't even know how many states. I lost count on how many times I washed it, because every time I returned from a show, I would throw it in wash and dryer. And what you're not aware of is the whites of the eyes. There, I just dropped something else. The whites of the eyes have never been sewn. So I'm going to get real tight here and let you see and what it looks like, even though it's not perfect looking. This bag has been stuffed so full. I put my king-size feather pillow in it, my purse, magazines, water bottles, jacket. It is engorged by the time I have everything in it. And then I carry it on as my carry-on bag on an airplane. And then I leave my pillow in it, and it's like a pillowcase for my pillow. So that, the whites, they have no stitching. And they're still there. Amazing, isn't it? So that's the difference between using a really good stabilizer and not. And another benefit of ours is it has no adhesive on it. It fuses and there's no stickiness to it to get on your needle, to cause skip stitches and other thread issues. And it's super soft. You can't even feel it in there. I'm sure there's at least one of you that's used it and can confirm that it is so soft you can't even tell it's in there. And some of these pieces, this the owl's face, purple, is the bottom layer. And each one of these has fusing on it. So the bottom layer, the white, the black, and then the white, all of them have a piece of this fusing on them. And you can't even tell it's in there. It's awesome stuff. And we're coming out with wider widths on it very soon. As soon as my son lets me add new product. All right, so what I'm going to do is go around the circles, which is similar to the owl eyes. Hi, Marlene. Hi, Debbie. I got batting fuzz again because it's Claire's house. And there's always batting or binky floating around in the air. All right, so I'm selecting a zigzag stitch, which I should show. Try not to make you dizzy by doing this the right way. So this is the front of my machine. And if you have a machine with dials instead of digital, you would still have a similar image. This is the zigzag stitch. This one has a little dot. And what that says is it's going to tie a knot every time it runs. And I don't want that. We want to use our own brain to run the machine. If you use a knot stitch, it has to finish a whole cycle of the stitch before it ties that knot. And sometimes it just makes you go too far. And then you end up having to rip out stitches. Now I'm going to change the width of this stitch. And just so you can see, I need to move all of that. This is the Polyfast thread. And I was preparing to do a whole bunch of video. So at some point I'm going to have to move it because otherwise I'll knock all of that on the floor. And I have a color chart here. So if you ever want me to say exactly the name of the color that I'm using, but isn't that beautiful? This is the Polyfast, available at creativefeet.com, where you'll find the easiest method of ordering thread on the internet, thanks to my wonderful son, Vincent. Okay, so I'm going to use a stitch width that's 2.5. That's pretty narrow, and the reason I am is because the circles are small. And then the length of the stitch, I'm going to start with a 0.6 and see if I like it, and then change it if I don't, or if I feel that I would like a little bit closer or a little bit further away. There's my lunch, so you know that I'm telling the truth. I'm not going to starve myself. It's my vitamin water, and this is my lunch, and down here is my adorableness. Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell. She's tired. This was my daughter's first communion dress. And that is her, or that was the mother of the bride purse. That was the purse I wore for my daughter's wedding. And I'm just trying to do this without making you nauseous. And get back to the actual sewing machine. It looks like this camera is having to recycle. I don't know if you guys are seeing that or not. I'll find out on the recording. And this phone is on wireless, not plugged in. I'm going to mute myself while I take a little sip of my vitamin water. Are you all hydrating? Drinking enough water? Oh, this chair. No whining. I really got to stop mentioning it. I got this new sweater and I love the buttons on it. All right, so I have the width of the stitch chosen. And then what we're aiming for is to turn the hand wheel not really aiming for it, but this is how you set up the foot. Bring the needle down, and you can see how the needle is going to hit that wire. And the wire is what inside of the foot. Like you can see on this one. That wire inside of the opening is the real guide on the foot. So what I want to do is make sure the needle is swinging just right of that wire. And I'm looking at it on the screen of my computer. There goes the first spool of thread. So it looks like it's still hitting. Need to move it a little more. But we actually want the needle to touch when it's down. That scared me. Did it scare any of you? So we go and bring, okay, so now it's definitely correct. Lift the foot to move it over. We always want to make sure the needle thread is under the foot and to the left. And we want the wire right off the applique's edge. So there's no space between it and the fabric's edge. And what that wire does is prevent your fabric from tunneling. I probably should have done this on the other side. I was going to show you how you can also applique while you're quilting. Oh, I have the thread going underneath my microphone wire. Well, that was a mistake. I'm taking a moment to move these threads, you guys. So you don't hear me go, oh no, oh no. I dropped another one. Is Amy? Oh, Amy's here. See, everybody knows that Better Days is Amy now. That's when you know you guys are hanging out here a lot. Okay, I don't need that mouse. I do need to be able to see, and my brain is just, I'm going to try doing this. I got my glasses thanks to Sandy in a nice handy spot. Aren't these pretty? I love mine. I got them at a show. You know how I got them? One of my customers, she kept hearing me say, "Oh, I left my glasses in the car." And she just bought them for me and threw them on my table and goes, "Here, now you can see." It was very sweet of her. Now you can tie a knot, but you can also just go back over where you started and not need to do that. I know that I'm looking through my camera. And if you were here last time, I mentioned that I do this. And if you're not filming live, you can actually zoom in and see your foot gigantic. So if you have vision issues, know that I've like modified a couple tripods to do this. So I'm trying to find the tripod that will work for you guys. And I will announce it as soon as I find it inside of the school. And most likely in the visually impaired or visually challenged group that I have on my Create with Clare Rowley site. When I do a small circle, I do lower my needle in the outside swing as I go around. Then you can lift the foot and swing it around. And the focus is always on this spot right here. You just want to make sure that you're constantly bringing the fabric back to that. Instead of watching the needle, which is moving, and I would normally sew faster than this, but I'm actually looking at a screen that's teeny tiny. And kind of proving that you can sew if you have visual challenges with this foot. After a while, you'll feel the fabric kind of hit the guide. So your fingers become more sensitive as you use this. Now, my son doesn't like me saying things like that in an absolute. It is what happens to me and with a lot of other people. So see how the needle is in the inside swing? I want it on the outside swing. I'm glad everyone knows you're Amy too, Amy. Outside swing, swing it around. If you're looking at this spot right here and not back here, you will see that you're starting to lose it, lose the connection. And it gives you time to adjust before you get there instead of realizing you're not there and it's too late. Needle down, lift. But you notice I don't have to lower the needle as much. That crunching you're hearing is the hold light beneath the fabric. Kind of sounds like you're at the grocery store. And it makes it so that you don't have to worry about your fabric puckering. Lift and turn. And I feel like there's a gap there. So if there is, then you just lift and push back. Oops. Ugh. Okay, well, that needle's bad. I didn't break it, but I definitely destroyed it just because I can't see. And I moved the fabric in such a way that it made contact. Since this is mine, I'm not making it for anyone else, and I don't want to have to tie the thread or start over. I'm just going to go around. Even though I know that this would really destroy hitting that, the needle is now rough. You hear that? I don't know if you can hear that. So having a needle that's rough is like taking sandpaper through your fabric instead of a nice push of the fibers aside from the needle, which is what a universal needle does. Now I have the equivalent of a few sharp needles just destroying the fabric. But it's not going to be stretched. It's going to be quilted through. It's going to be a bag. I'm going to put, I think, all my rotary cutters in it because I'm frequently not able to find them. I love my show because I get to sew for myself every week. Where I used to travel and just make little squares, now I make projects. I'm having fun with this. So never feel bad if you guys keep me for longer than you think I should work. You guys are my date for Thursday. Now I'm tying a knot. This is a function of my machine. It's a knot stitch. If you don't have that, you can take your zigzag and make it a straight stitch and then sew a few stitches, and then that should hold it as well. Another way of securing the end of a zigzag stitch like this is to bring 2 threads through a hand needle and pull it through to the back. Now this is with me not being able to see what I'm doing. Ugh, I could do so much better if I weren't making it so you could see, which makes it so I can't see, even with my magnifying glasses, because it's the equivalent of a 1-inch screen. So the foot is about 3/8 of an inch in diameter. I can't see that needle if I tried, but it was nice. Isn't it nice for you to be able to see that close? Now I'm going to move that. And let's see. I didn't use the same color thread that I used either, but it's mine. Do any of you want to know what color that was? My scissors. Where are the little ones? Sandy got me this. I've never put that many scissors in it. The upholstery scissors is too much. There we go. We don't need them anyway. But I think I carried my little thread snips into the other room. Oh no, here they are. And this is one of my projects this season, Fabrically Speaking. And this was made by cutting fabric using the Octi-Hoops as the pattern. So if you have this and you don't know about that class, it's one of the free Fabrically Speaking episodes that you find in the Fabrically Speaking playlist on my YouTube channel. If you're watching in Facebook, they're also inside of Facebook. I definitely need to bring this one up on the screen. You really put a lot in this. Okay, so this is spam. And now we have to block him. So, time to split. Give our feed. Well, that's when you know your live feeds are starting to get more attention. It's called a troll. He's a troll. And they tell you not to be on Facebook while you're live. But I really do want to make him where he causes any more trouble. Let's see here. You guys like buttons? It feels really fancy to wear a sweater. It's like I'm on Facebook. This is the one reason why it's good to have someone that works with you, but we never had one yet. This is the first one. And Facebook's not loading. Do I have it on my phone? I do. Oh, well, I'm already in here. So where do I go? It's probably his only post, but what if it's not? So think of this as a commercial break. Feel free to ask me questions. Come on, you guys. I dare you to give me a really good question. Something hard to answer. It's one thing to go live, and it's another thing to find your live. Remove this. I want to go to this person and block him. It's hot in here. Block. He cannot bother us anymore. And it's probably not even a real person. So we don't get emotional about it. They're called bots. Troll bots. Is anybody else hot? And what's interesting is that it could even snow today. I have to find my way back to, there we go. All right, sorry for the delay. You guys were good. You didn't get all mad at them and make any comments. I'm proud of you. Okay, so I'm going to applique the other circles when I go to do the quilting part and show you how you can applique while quilting and have a little bit of fun with your applique. Because that's not what we're teaching today. I'm teaching you how to make it into a bag and how to quilt it, right? Thumbs up if you've done some quilting with the Octi-Hoops so far. I decided to use this as the back fabric. Did he do it again? How could he do it again? I blocked him. Ugh. Troll. There's 3 dots in here. Block user. Oh, I can do it inside the app. Cool. I don't have to do that again. This is how we learn. And now I'm going to delete the comments so nobody has to see it again. And now he's done nothing. He's not gained at all. Doesn't make any sense to me. There we go. Okay, well, it was meant to happen because I learned how to do it quicker. I watch someone just about every day and they have lots of trolls, and it happens more in Facebook than in YouTube. Mary Lou, you don't have the hoops yet? You'll give me some snow? I could use the snow right now, Cynthia. Hi, Pearl. I don't remember saying hi to you. And hello, Mary Lou, even though I did respond to your comment. I'm not sure I welcomed you. And Lynn. No, it's not Lynn, it's Cynthia. So they look like Lynn. All right, enough chatting. Time to sew. So we're going to actually decide how big of a bag we want. And it's going to be my, as I said, place for all of my rotary cutters, because over the years at shows, I would need rotary cutters. And so I don't even know how many I have. And how many do you guys have? How many rotary cutters do you guys have? Don't be shy. Share. That way we all kind of get the idea of that we're not alone in this. That we buy more than we really need. Is it really ever a matter of need? I got to change that needle while I'm thinking about it. For any of you that are following the thread in the school about the satin stitch, and one of the people was having skip stitches, it was determined that her sewing machine is needing service. So she's taking it in to get it serviced. Thread needles always go all the way up. Hi, Clara. I see you all the time on Facebook. This is my first time seeing you in the feed, I think. Hello, Brenda. Thank you for the comment in the website. You should go see Brenda's inking that she did. She did a sloth. It's so cute. When I saw that, I was like, so proud of you. Like, yay. And she used the babbling brook. She learned using the babbling brook. You have 7 rotary cutters. You might beat me. I don't know. But I'm going to use it because I'm going to make this the back fabric for this. And I'm going to remove all of the hold light from the back side, and it's as easy as this. And the hold light is our stabilizer. And what it did is prevented the fabric from stretching. Let me show you a little close up. So you see how it's all shiny? It's very slippery, and it makes it easier to turn the curves on shapes like this. Makes you less likely to have to stop as often as well when going around circles, as long as you are able to see what you're doing. This is an opportunity to cut all your carryover stitches, which is basically the bobbin thread. As I move from one piece to the other, I didn't want to stop and tie a knot. It's called being lazy. I love this camera. I think I just need to get more of those. It is the best. Let's see. See how it just tears right off? It's noisy too. So with the sewing machines that have a wider zigzag, what they do is they use a sensor. You have sensors on the feet. And what it does is makes it so you don't hit the foot. It's a good question. And a lot of people are nervous about using like feet from their older model. But all that does is prevent you from using the 9mm wide zigzag. So yes, you can use our feet. You just can't use 9mm wide zigzag stitch. And on the Janome, you'll use our B adapter. And for those of you who are not aware, we do give you adapters with each foot. That's the B adapter. This one's the C. How do I know? There's a letter stamped on the side of each of the adapters. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. So this is closer. This is the little C adapter. You see how there's a C on it? Can you see the C? I can't hold it, it's too little. This one is attached to the Bernina adapter. This is how the Bernina uses our feet. And they just snap this onto them. And that is how you would attach the B adapter for, think B is best for my Janome. And then you just snap it on. Oops, that's not the B. That was the D. That was the D, is don't use that, use the B. There we go. Actually, Cynthia, I actually just got this at Hobby Lobby this time. I wasn't even going for shopping for fabric. This has like a crisp feeling to it. And that's because I didn't wash it yet. It's a very thin batik. So I would say that Hobby Lobby has batiks, but I wouldn't consider this high quality. Whereas this one doesn't feel as stiff. And I have a piece of that one. So yeah, you know, you get what you pay for. It's gonna last because we're using the right needle. This has static electricity. So I try to get it to get off of me, and it won't get off of me. How you get it off your finger is give it something else to hold on to. See how nice and clean that is? And there's no pucker on either side of that satin stitch. This fabric I absolutely loved, and I just couldn't resist it. I have a hard time resisting fabric. So know that we are going to be carrying fabric. When I teach a project, I'm going to make a kit. And you can choose with or without thread in case you already have all the threads. So there'll be, you don't have to do all the shopping. You'll be able to, there's a link inside of Creative Feet called Class Kits. So if you take a class, the kit will be listed by name and correlate with what I'm teaching inside of my school. Lots of stuff coming. I often wonder what happened to my first quilt that used to hang 16 feet up a wall so no one could see how bad my applique stitches were. Probably got thrown away. I don't know. But if you felt like throwing away your applique before, yeah, kits are handy, I know. They just take people to make. So during COVID, it's like I was ready to hire, and then it flared up in our area. And there is a company called Yavapai Exceptional Industries here, and they're developmentally challenged adults. And that would be something that they could do for us, is to make the kits. But first I have to make the pattern. That backing pearl is our hold light. And it looks like this before you iron it. And it's super slippery. So it won't let your fabric stick to your sewing machine. Oh, look at that. Now you can see the letter. This is a good reflective. Maybe this is what I need to put on the top of the inside of my machine to get the light to show better. Okay, it's noisy though. So when you're on our website and you go to the stabilizers link, look for the hummingbird. And it is one of my favorites. I use it a lot. It's not just for this. I even embroidered using it. I use it as an embroidery template. Come on. There you go. Every time you add a camera, it brings them all on screen. I let them know. I'm hoping they can fix that. See the butterfly tucked in there on that sewing machine? And I thought I would show you guys this anyway. I changed the set to add some items. So I'm going to give you a little tour. I actually printed on the hold light to make that butterfly. I think that was 3 weeks ago on our Fabrically Speaking live show. If you're in the school, there's a group called Fabrically Speaking. And inside the group are all the videos in order of the episodes. So look for the butterfly. And I actually sewed through the hold light and went color over color. This is another item done using the Octi-Hoops. This is going to be a quilt called Hearts and Feathers. And you can see they're not traditional feathers. This is one of the blocks that I created. And there's a whole quilt. And we're going to be doing a quilt as you go using that. And this is some of the quilting that you'll see me do today. This is all done with the Octi-Hoops.
And if you don't think you can do it, you really can. It's like doodling or tracing if you trace the design out first. And then this is my most popular video right now is the paper piecing. So I'll be doing another paper piecing project soon. I'm also going to teach my eagle inside of the school. So it will be a paid-for class that you take, and there will be a kit so that you'll have everything you need to do that. And the bridal season is coming up, so I'm going to be revisiting some of these projects. And you can see this wedding veil. Now, this wedding veil was embroidered using the Octi-Hoops with no stabilizer beneath the actual veil fabric. It looks like lace, but it's just doodling. Doodle doodle. And if at some point, I'm going to teach the bunny. But this basket is already a project on my site, and you see the Easter eggs that stick out. And it has a handle. It's a casserole dish. And it's a free pattern on our YouTube channel. And that you'll find in my playlist called Clare Rowley's Creative Notions. And then we go over here. And I still got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. I haven't finished stitching on that. I may do that in the VIP group one day, just kind of finish it with all of you. This is a pattern that we'll be releasing soon. And I will have a video to support it. As all my patterns, if I can do it, will have a video to support. This is done using the same technique as the Babbling Brook. And this is the Babbling Brook. This is a course you can take right now in creativefeet.com. And the way you take it is by video. So this is the conglomerate mess. See all those threads there? Ooh. See that circle thing there? I'm going to be teaching you how to do that. It's another thing you can do with the Octi-Hoops and use the Sequins and ribbon foot to do that. However, there is, and this is another example of it. You can see here I used a variety of different stitches to create this spiral. And I missed a little bit right here, but this was a trial. And I'll be teaching you guys how to do that. Have you guys ever wanted to do circles? The eagle, by the way, is going to open up soon. Yep. I'll be teaching it live for the first class. And then once the eagle embroidery is done, then it will be a video-only class inside the school. So as soon as I am ready to teach it, I will announce it. And if you're in the live part, you're in the live part. If not, you'll still be able to do it, and you'll be able to see the chat from the live. It will not be done like Zoom, though. You won't be talking while I'm teaching. So there's different ways that I go live. Like today, you can chat, but your picture doesn't pop up on the screen and block what I'm teaching. So when I teach something like the eagle, you'll be able to be in there like this, just like this. It'll be a private StreamYard, and so you're already good at it. And then I will be teaching, and then after I teach a certain part, then I'll read your comments, and then I expect you guys to share your pictures of your work. Like some of you were doing in school. I really appreciate it. Do that. I was trying to remember. I want to have some stuff to show you before I quilt. Where is that? I had it all ready. This was another Octi-Hoop lesson. If you didn't see this and you still have Valentine candy left, this is one of a Valentine candy box. Yep, I ate all my candy. And turned it into a quilted pin cushion. And it's very sweet. My table's usually too cluttered for it. But that was in February, I believe. The first part of February. I have an echo.
Why can't I hear it? I got rid of it, but I didn't hear my echo. And I'm wearing an earbud so that I can hear when it goes wonky. Thank you for letting me know. Don't hesitate. All right. Are you going to give me trouble? We got interference. Hello, hello. All right, we're back. This is what live is all about. Come on, where's that? It'd help if I can even remember what it is. Oh yeah, I know what it is. Okay, so I don't know where I put it. It'll probably be, it is probably handy as I'm prepared to grab several things and share them with you. Okay. So this is the idea of what I'm going to show. Is this bag here. And it's too far away for you to see. So I'm going to share one of the closer cameras. And on this, you'll see that I quilted around the actual fabric pattern. Those are very light color thread. And I've gone around the actual fabric. This is the fastest way to learn quilting, is to use the fabric as the pattern, like you see on this. And if you don't line it afterward, if you actually quilt through both, and there's more than one way to build a bag, and this is the way I plan to build this bag, because I want to teach you guys how cool it is. So opening the bag, flip it inside out. This is the construction of the inside. And this is a makeup bag. So see the stitching? I'm trying to get a good angle here. And that's what the inside ends up looking like. It becomes quilted too, instead of it being lined. So if I wanted to have a pocket inside of here, I still could. Because before you construct the bottom, you would insert the pocket into the bag for the final construction. We'll see if I'm good. All right. This is another bag, and this one wasn't quilted. But using the same construction that I'm going to show you, you can do things like adding elastic to hold makeup brushes in place and do the couching on the outside. And this is actually lined, but it's fused. So the same fabric on the bottom is on the top, and you iron wrong side to wrong side. And this is a great way to learn the couching techniques with the sequins and ribbon foot. And each of these bags have a gusseted bottom, so they stand up. This one's just been in a suitcase more than it's been open. All right, so that's what we're teaching today. If I ever get started. Boy, I've been talking for an hour, you guys. And with the Octi-Hoops, you're able to quilt through 4 layers of batting, as you see here. This is a video you can watch on my YouTube channel. So you can see how I did all of that without a foot using the Octi-Hoops. All right, time to cut. And I'm using bamboo batting. This is the... Oh, your phone is dying. Don't you have a charger? Oh, she's going to get it. So I'm stretching the batting so you can see how it stretches and comes back. It has memory built into it. It has scrim inside. So there is something in it that stretches and comes back to its original shape. And that gives you the best drape of any batting. It's also going to last longer. Even though it's a natural fiber, it outlasts cotton, wool, and silk. Well, actually, I don't know if it outlasts silk. I haven't done a test on that. It definitely outlasts wool, like by years, and cotton by years and years and years. If you didn't know batting rots, well, now you do. And I'm sorry, it's not my fault. All right, I'm going to take another sip of my protein so I stop sounding loopy. So time for you guys to take a sip as well. I forgot you didn't have to swallow. So what I said was cheers. And are any of you having something with me? That's a protein drink. You just had a burrito. Oh, that sounds good. I decided to use a yellow zipper, by the way. And I need to clear this area so I can cut. And every time I move the ironing surface away and see my Caterpillar, I'm always like, I love my Caterpillar. Do you guys feel like that? I know one of you is waiting for something from Caterpillar. Lorinda, she's not in here today. Or no, Larry. All right. I need to decide on the size, and I may as well cut the inside and the outside at the same time. I used to say when I was selling sewing machines that I loved my sewing machine so much that I would give it a hug and a kiss goodnight. Do any of you feel like that? Go. I love my sewing machine. Frequently wear the Octi-Hoops as bracelets. This batting is not cut very well. This is one of those pieces that the bamboo batting people at the show would hand me a piece, and I'd go cut it with scissors while a bunch of you were around me. You just got your accessories for it? Ooh, you're ready to ink. I didn't get all this off yet. It sticks to everything when you take it off. This is when I wish you guys could talk back so I could listen to you while I do something like this and mute so you don't have to hear the noise. But you can see it's really easy to remove it. And it doesn't damage your needle either. You love your sewing machine. So who won? Who had the most cutters or rotary cutters? Did anybody keep track? I'll have to let you know later when I finish the bag and have a minute, I'll go back and I'll gather all my cutters and give you the count next week. Amy, you will love your Caterpillar if you ever get one. That's how Brenda did her, what's it called? Sloth. I just love how you did it. And have you worked on it yet, Brenda? Do you got any stitching on it yet? Are you scared to stitch it? Because you did such a good job on the inking. You were an inspiration by posting that. I got several emails about it. And I don't know if they're posting in the school what they're telling me, but they're very impressed. All right. That's good enough. And so I know that I have the fabric beneath. And a lot of you keep asking me, can you quilt something smaller than the hoops? So I'm going to cut the top piece to size first, or thereabouts. So that the top piece is too small for the hoop, to show you what you do in that situation. Are you going to get the Ultra? The Ultra is the big one. The power cord is too far away. There we go. Come on. There you go. This would be good for you guys to see. Which camera would show this the best? Now it's because I'm so close to it, and what happens is this light makes the camera kind of squint. But I can see all the way around the applique, the holes that the needle makes. And this is partly why you want to stabilize your fabrics or use the right needle. You can't see that at all when the light's off, but when the light's on, you can see the holes or the areas where the needle spread the fibers aside, because this was a universal needle. If that was a sharp needle, that would actually be cut, 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 and then the fabric just tears. So even though you can see your holes, as long as you use the needle I recommend, which is the universal, you will not have that break. I have a square ruler somewhere. I couldn't find it last week. I think it's in the drawer, which is packed. I did organize. I just didn't organize as much as I need to. Definitely something to get. That's the master pack of the Decobob bobbins. I have lots of different boards. How many boards do you got? Or rulers? And by the way, I just ordered the piping ruler. So if you've seen me use it and you want it, I just spoke with Lena McGee from Gee's and ordered them from her. It's an awesome ruler. It has 3 different size pipings, or I think it's 4 sizes of piping that you can use to cut so that you have the accurate seam allowance to sew it into your quilts or your garments. So it's a very, very heavy, sturdy ruler. But I don't need that. I'm looking for my square. Oh well. We'll just square up another way. Find your center, which is the center of this flower. If I want the flower to be centered on the bag, which it really doesn't need to be. I want the bag to be bigger so it holds those cutters in there. So I think I'll cut it in the back. I wasn't going to have the back match the front. But this is actually the back. And this is the inside. So that's actually good. Kind of like that. You could actually add rhinestones and make it really fancy. If you actually make it into a purse if you want. You've had your machine overheat, Sandy? What kind of machine do you have? As a sewing machine mechanic, that should not happen. You all should be plugging your machine into a power strip. You can damage your machine by plugging it directly into the wall. If you have your machine plugged into the wall, unplug it right now and then get back to me. So, and I'm serious about that. There were actually house fires from sewing machines in the past. So if you plug your machine directly into the wall, and they used to be, but older models of the computerized machines, the way they cycle the electricity, they actually create heat. It caused heat into the wall. So you should plug your machine into a power strip for that reason, and also because it monitors the electricity that goes into your machine. And because it's a computerized machine and it has a motherboard like a computer, you should definitely have a power strip for your computer as well as anything that you plug in like that. The only thing you don't want to plug into a power strip is a heater. Heaters should be plugged into the wall. There you go. A little bit of that makes sense, but that doesn't make sense. So I don't want my applique being in the zipper. So I'm going to push it as far out as I can. And I have ruined so many rotor cutter blades lately. You unplug yours when not in use? I don't. I turn it off, but I don't unplug. My sewing machine is plugged into a power strip that's plugged into a power strip that's plugged into a power strip. There's so many power strips in my studio. So mostly just so I can get things where I want. And it's better to not fill one all the way up. So I'm trying to allow for seam allowance beyond. And there won't be a pattern for this, okay? I mean, I could make one for you. The artwork part, throw it in the school. Wouldn't be hard for me. But I didn't intend to make a pattern for this particular bag. But I do plan on releasing patterns for bags. This is me designing the bag as you watch. I think that's a good size. I'm liking the size. I'm smiling inside, so that's a good sign. I'm also going to be making dog walking bags soon, and I'm thinking this would be a really cute dog walking bag. Have any of you already made a zipper bag? Now, if I don't cut the bottom, then there's no seam on the bottom. If I don't cut the bottom, then there's no way to insert a pocket. So I can decide as I go, depending on how I feel. Feeling a little sleepy today. That's because I was going to go to bed early, but my son got on the phone with me. And he kept me on the phone till midnight. I have a rule. Wednesday night I go to bed early so that I can work with you guys for hours. I know you want a pocket. And you guys voted, so I feel pressured. But actually, I'm trying to show you how to quilt something smaller than the batting. Well, you know what? I can only do what I can do. And I can see through with the cutter pillar to see where the fabric is on the bottom. I frequently forget I'm wearing the Octi-Hoops. At shows, I'd wear them. I'd be about a half hour into the feet. And then finally someone would go, "What are those things on your wrists?" I've been wanting to know this whole time. So that fabric's just a teeny bit smaller. So I'm just going to cut a little bit off of this. And I can't wait to quilt. I'm not going to quilt the whole thing. You know, I'm not going to go around the pattern because because it would take too many hours. But you have the option to do that on yours. Be a great way to learn. I should have left the batting bigger. Oh no. What am I going to do? Now you should leave the batting bigger if you're new to it. After you get good at the Octi-Hoops, you can be like me and you can actually quilt even though it's a little bit smaller. So what did I just say? I said, cut the batting bigger. That way you have something for the hoop to use. And I'm not going to cut this side. I'm going to have it be bigger. This is what I mean. So you'd want to have your batting stick out so that the hoop, when it slides around on top of the surface, that you have something sticking out past the fabric to quilt all the way to the edge of the fabric. I will do something like that, definitely, Cynthia. I promise to make you guys some bags and teach it. We're going to do a variety of bags. I always wanted a better bag for traveling, so I've been designing that in my head for years. It's so fun not to travel and be able to have more time with you guys and make things like entire projects. Oh, I got it. Wall. You can't get by. What's going on? Why did you put the wall there? Hi, Tink. Do you want to come up and say hi? No? Hi, baby. She's so funny. She acts like she wants me until she's got me, and then she wants to run away. Okay, so I really want to show you how to quilt through how it shows on the lining. So I'm going to do that. And I'm not going to cut the bottom, but it's still going to be a gusset. And I promise you I will do a pocket one later. It's just too much for me today. I didn't get enough sleep. So I have room to move the fabric. So I'm going to move it up. And it's nice to have the light beneath so you can see where the fabric is beneath it. I got too much paper in there. I also put my patterns underneath. No. This is the pattern for the flower. Do you guys remember if I put that in the school? I think I didn't charge for that pattern. But it's not the entire how-to, it's just the art. Gotta make money, can't just do everything for free. I wish I could, but I can't. So you can see how the batting is sticking out. So that means I can move my top piece. I just need to make sure that it's within the boundaries of the green fabric beneath it all the way around. And it'd be better to have about 3 inches of batting sticking out all the way around all sides of the area if you're going to quilt all the way to the edge of your fabric. It's going to be so hard not to quilt around all that. Maybe I'll just go around these. do those big lines. Since it's mine and it doesn't really matter, I can kind of do a little of both so you can see. Well, I know some of you would watch me for 8 hours straight. Some people want me to actually get to the sewing part. You packed up your machine, Cynthia. Are you moving? Oh, wait, Susan. Oh, it sounds so sad. My sewing machine's packed away. Especially as I walk around all the sewing machines that I have everywhere. What machine do I want to use today? A butterfly machine? Sorry for bumping the mic. I have some other stuff here that's... Do you need help, baby? Where are you? She's doing that thing she does. I can't find her, but she's like making noises. Let's see. I did already have this pocket. You want help? Stop. Come here. Run away. She's crazy. Sure hope I find that thing I wanted to show you. Maybe I put it away so I wouldn't show you. Sometimes I do that because I'd rather just like surprise you with the coolness of it. So on this one, I used our stick and rinse, which is a product we're out of right now. And you can print the designs. This is one of my hearts and flowers designs, or hearts and feathers. Well, this is an alternative to the traditional feather, and I liked doing the circles. And so this is a pattern that you'll be able to print out and quilt as well. And if you don't print it on our stick and rinse, you can also print through the hold light and iron it on and stitch it, and it comes off. And it prevents the fabric from stretching, and then everything just disappears, and you're left with just this incredible quilt. The stick and rinse also is printable in color, so you can color through it for embroidery. Stick and rinse is not available right now. I will let you know when it is. We are experiencing difficulties getting some products, and luckily we almost were going to sell out of the Octi-Hoops, and they kind of put us ahead. So we're not going to run out of Octi-Hoops. We were almost running out of them. I mean, we were a week away from running out. So, yay. Remember how I say you will like your quilting better if you do a light color thread versus a dark? Why this camera's really struggling. I think I'll switch. I'll go to this one, see if you can see it better. And this just may be our internet feed right now, even though we're wired. So the contrast is intense, and you can really see those stitches. So if you are not confident yet, don't use dark colors. Use a color that blends in, and then people can't really see if you made any mistakes, and it just looks beautiful. And this is what I did to warm up before I did this. Even though I'm really good at this now, I still practice. Before I do something so controlled, I practice using the same thread, same fabric, same type of thread anyway. Where are you? I hear you, but I don't see you. Come here. What are you doing? Come on. Oh, I am not going to do this. She's so bossy. Oh, I forgot I was going to show you this. This is micro quilting. Came out with this, and then it kind of went viral. People were making micro quilted quilts and throwing pennies on it, so you would see a picture of the quilt or the design, and go, that's nice. And then the next picture is it with a penny next to it. And then you see just how tiny that actually is. And I think this camera would be the best one to show you that. No, Tinkerbell. Chase must be blocking her. Oh my goodness. I can't do it. I gotta find out what's wrong with her. Doesn't matter. Are you trying to get out of the house? You're afraid to go by Chase? Come here. He's all spread out. Huh? You gotta let Tink go by. Be nice. They're like, are you done? No, I'm not done. I think I walk right in front of that camera. Okay, so if you're looking at this, see how small that feather is? So this is micro quilting. And as you go around, use a smaller needle. So where we would use an 80-12. And then you can write. So I wrote micro. And see how tiny that is? If you compare it to the tip of this pen, it's the same size as like college rolled paper. And that without our Octi-Hoops is nearly impossible. Because without our Octi-Hoops, you have to put your hands down like this and write like this. And your brain does not know how to do that. Ooh, I better plug that back in. Oh, I turned that camera on. How did I do that? Oopsie. So with the Octi-Hoops, you're going to hold on to an instrument that is like a pen. So if you can write your name on fabric, or on paper, you can write your name on fabric. The Octi-Hoops are going to go on, and we're going to actually remove the foot. Where are my handles? I switched machines, but I don't take the handles. I was careful. Here they are. In my little trusty little organizer that we made that lets you hold clips on it. And then I will write like this with my fingers, not with my hands. Have any of you done the quilting? Bye, Susan. So taking the foot off, and now I'm going to take the snap-on adapter assembly off as well. Sorry, that chair. This is how this machine loosens the screw with that. And then this drops off. And you can take the screw off as well, but it doesn't really block your view. Make sure you know where you put that and say it out loud. Like where am I putting it? I put it in the machine. I never put that in something separate. So it goes inside of this little cubby thing that's connected to the machine. When you tried no foot, you mean, Brenda? All right. It takes practice. That's why I suggest you practice first. And I will do a little practice before I go on to this project, just so you can see. Oh, I found it. I knew I'd find it. Should I show you? Of course I have to now. I did this with the Octi-Hoops, you guys. See, it's a circle. This will be a class coming up in the school. It's because you'll need me, you know, to talk to and stuff instead of just watching me. I just love it. What could we do with circles? What could we do? Could we make coasters? I don't know. Just about anything, right? I was going to practice on that. Well, I'm not going to do that. But if there's one thing I've got, there's lots of these from the shows. Where I would show you guys how to do this. And I want to quilt so that you can see the thread. So I'm going to change color. And where I would recommend you use Invisifill, which is 100 weight. You can also use 80 weight, the Deco Bob, which is another line of thread that we offer. And each of them have the names on their labels. Like this says Polyfast. And this is Invisifill. If you make sure you don't ever take that label off so you know which one you've got. But Invisifill is super thin. And so once again, your stitches won't show up as much. So it's ideal to learn quilting using the Invisifill. And you can use it in both needle and bobbin, or use the Deco Bob bobbins that we have that are pre-wound. And then you don't have to wind a bobbin, because winding a full bobbin of a thread that's 100 weight can take like 12 minutes for one bobbin. And that's because it's the equivalent of winding 68 bobbins of cotton quilting thread. So you won't need to wind a bobbin again for a long time. Since I'm putting a yellow zipper in, I'm going to use yellow thread. And this is the Polyfast. The reason I'm using it so that you can see better, and because I'm proficient at doing free motion. And I want the thread to show a lot so that you guys can see it. And I got to make sure I don't lose that. And by the way, the color number for this is 9118. So this is the way to save it, is poke the hole before you put it on anything and make sure that's on there. Otherwise you'll go, I don't know what kind of thread it is. And after Claire talking, I now know it matters. Is it weird having me be later? What time is it? 3:30. I better hurry. I'm never finishing this bag. Hi, Ellen. Welcome to the feed. Or to the stream, I should say. Get on your kayak and join us. Are any of you having wine or enjoying anything like that? So there's a white bobbin, and this is going to be the inside, and I won't mind that at all. You don't have to match the top to the bottom, but know this, that you're more likely to have the bobbin thread get pulled up to the top than you are to have the opposite. Lowering the foot, even though the foot is not actually down, because there's no foot. See how cool that is? Actually, there's a thread we have that glows in the dark. And we have ink that is blacklight. And I was thinking about teaching you a quilt in the dark. I don't know if the cameras will be able to do it, but it might be fun. Might be a fun VIP thing. We'll see. I'd have to get the room dark. Printing on fabric. Oh, I'm not. I'm talking about inking your own fabric. So when you're at my YouTube channel, look, when you click, you are in the YouTube channel. Hot chai latte with a shot of decaf coffee. That sounds good. I'm having a Dr. Gundry MCT drink with vitamin C water. And then a Dr. Gundry shake. If you aren't familiar with him, it's a celebrated heart surgeon. So this is the traditional way of free motion. Of course, you'd normally have a foot. But just so you know, even without our Octi-Hoops, you should be able to sew without a foot. You just have to make sure you lower the foot, even though there's no foot. And that's already my hands hurt just from doing that much. So it's not good for you to quilt that way physically. How many of you got sore doing free motion before? Give me a thumbs up. And the more you interact in the feed, the better the algorithm likes us in YouTube and Facebook. Dr. Gundry rocks. My life's changed a lot from following his eating. Okay. Here we go. Cutting all the tails I should have cut a long time ago. What you see here is a bunch of different times I stitched. And this is a customer's first time try. Because I would need to go to the ladies' room and then I'd set someone up. And then I would walk away. And everyone was like, "You're just going to let her sew while you're gone?" So this was a customer's first attempt. Not bad, huh? You know what she did? She sewed with her left hand and she was right-handed. This is my work doing the stuff, but frequently there's more than one customer's project. And then you'll see them like struggle and then get really good. This one doesn't have it. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how we use the Octi-Hoops. I'm taking place one hoop beneath the quilt and the other hoop on top. And then you bring the corners together with your non-dominant hand. So that's the most important thing. You need to train this hand. You can walk around the house with these. Look at them and go, "You're familiar to me." Because our body, or our brain, our engineering, our, what do you call it? Some of you know. Ancestral wiring is to protect yourself from being attacked. So we're trained, or not trained, but we are innately afraid of things that are not familiar. People that are not from our tribe, we instinctually get scared of. And these are not part of your tribe. These are strange. The first time you see them, I mean, people go, "What are those?" So if you feel like, "What are those?" you need to get to know them. So I recommend, before you ever use them, that you walk around the house with them. Sit down, go to your kitchen table, away from your sewing machine. Because well, you may not be, but I would say good 80% are afraid of their machine having a problem. So you already have a fear of something going wrong. And so if you get these away from your machine, go in the kitchen and just sit like this, and we don't need the line on, elbows down, and just move the corners into each other, and then move it around, and then go like this with your non-dominant hand. Your dominant hand rests your head. And I know this seems silly, and I recommend you do it for 15 minutes, half hour. Leave them, or leave, but wear them. Walk around, come back to another table, another surface, put them down, grab the corner, move it around, and talk to the hand and go, your job is to keep the frames together. And it'll go, okay. Or you should do, okay. Make it silly, light and easy and fun. And then before you ever go to the machine, put your hand down on the bottom frame, elbows down. This is the position that you're in when you quilt. And I'm serious. You know, like, oh, why did I plan such a big project for today? I'm just kidding. So hand down on the frame that's going to be beneath. You will not be able to see that. Your quilt is going to be over it. The smaller frame is going to go on top and drop inside of the frame beneath it. And they don't move together until you bring the corners together. So before you use the handle, practice now with fabric, but not at your machine, in the kitchen, wherever else you can go. And once again, grab a corner, slide it around. Grab a corner, slide it around. Try to keep your elbows down. Train yourself to keep your elbows down. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. All the time when you're sewing. If you can do it, then you won't end up with pinched muscles in between your shoulder blades. So that's the best way to get ready to start. It's rehearsing. We don't push down at all. It's a slippery, very slippery surface on these hoops. They don't scratch your machine, or I would never do this on my painted machine. All right, and then we take and place the fabric on top and choose where you want to quilt. I'm so excited. I can't tell you. It's like nothing else I do. I literally feel emotional because I get to quilt. And I never thought I'd ever say things like this. Elbows down, shoulders relax. See if I can move this without the microphone getting upset with me. Sometimes the sewing machine interferes with it. Hi, baby. What's the matter? Mom will be done and then you can have a cookie. Yeah. If you need glasses, wear them. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. This is the posture. Hand resting on the bottom frame, and you'll draw. But you got to know what you're going to draw, or you won't draw anything. If you're in your city that's nearby you, so mine would be Phoenix. I'm going to Phoenix. I'm there, but I'm going somewhere in Phoenix. If I don't know where I'm going, do I ever get there? So you have to decide what you're going to do before you begin, or you'll just wander around Phoenix and never get anywhere, and you won't like what you draw. Somebody was stuck in the storm. I'm glad you're where you're supposed to be. It's not morning anymore. It's 4 o'clock almost. I better stop. I think I should stop. Never mind. I'm not going to show you. Just kidding. Wouldn't that be mean of me? All right, so I've decided that I can't do all of the design. So I'm going to do the big things so that I can get to the sewing, even though I want to do it all. And I would if I weren't trying to show you how to sew a bag. Unless you want a 2-part. Nah, you would be bored. Maybe not, but I'm just trying to pick which camera right now. I think this one would be good because you'll see my hand positioning. Don't get distracted by little hippo here. You guys need to give me a name for him. What's his name? Name my hippopotamus. That's something I never thought I'd ever say. So my temptation is to stitch around my applique, but my applique is already stitched around. And I'm going to do these bigger swoops. So I just need to choose where I want to start. And there's so many of them. Where does it begin here? So see how I can spin it around and do any position I want. And there's no foot, but I still lower it. That light's too bright. That looks good. What do you think? Can you guys see well enough? I'm going to do a little bit. I'm going to do this one first. Now it's too dark because I moved the light. Uh-oh. Okay, so it doesn't mind this light, but it doesn't like the sewing machine light. The camera. Bring the needle down, needle up. And if your foot isn't lowered, in other words, if you haven't lowered the bar is up. There's no tension on the thread, so you wouldn't be able to get the bobbin thread to come up. The foot must be down, but you must have threaded the machine with the foot up. It looks like a Larry the hippo. I was like, what is she talking about? Who looks like a Larry? Larry the hippo. I don't know. So now I'm doing a few stitches. Oh, my head is in the way. That's what I thought. Okay, elbows down, shoulders relaxed. And yes, the fabric lifts a little bit as it exits. And I can see that my bobbin thread's coming up. So I'm going to lower my thread tension. I'm going down to 3. From 4 to 3. And now my bobbin thread's not coming up. And it's moving more because I'm not, or let's see. Because back here, you can see my fingers coming up between the 2 frames. So this is not bigger than the hoops. This is why I recommend you make your batting about 4 inches wider all the way around before you start quilting. So you won't have as much lifting. Top frame is always down on the fabric. So elbows down, shoulders relaxed. And that's boring. I'm too far away. I'm going to do the side a little bit so you can see my hand positioning. Maybe I'll just turn that light off. Nope. I don't know where it is. And then when I'm going to hop somewhere, I do a couple stitches in place, and then I'm going to hop over. Elbows down, and my hand is resting on the frame beneath, and I'm moving my fingers, not my arms. So arms are down, just fingers. And this angle's not good because you can't see my other hand. See if you can see it over there. So one camera's too close. I'll get it figured out. So now I'm going around the blanket stitch. Always cut your tails so you don't get distracted later. You can also pull these tails into a hand sewing needle and then take the needle through the fabric so that it is in between the back fabric and the top fabric. And then no one will ever see a knot on your quilt. But for me, I'm not interested in winning awards. So I'm not likely to do that hand sewing part. I don't think anyone ever really looks that close at your work, except for a judge that's trying to determine the winner. So then I scoot with my thumb. I just scooted the bottom frame up, and then I scoot the top frame. And that is how you progress across the quilt. See how I'm now spinning it? And you can see there's a big space right here. So I'm aware of that this fabric is not being held well. And sometimes I'll take my finger and hold a little bit. But more often I would just change the position and try to get it to where my hoop is always, the top one is always holding on all the way around. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. Sorry about that. I had to cough. I didn't want to terrify you guys. I need to drink more water. I have, other things to drink, but I'm the dry throat. So I'm going to take another sip of water and I'm going to mute myself again, so don't worry. This bottle I painted using the same techniques I use in the How to Paint Your Sewing Machine DVD. So my water bottle looks different than my friend Terry's, even though we have the same bottle. Larry, I don't know if I like Larry. Come on. You guys can do something hippopotamy sounding, can't you? Like hippity dippity, or I don't know, Mo. Mo the hippo. I kind of like that. So even though the fabric is lifting, I'm not looking at the needle. I'm looking about a ½ inch away from it. So looking where I'm headed, not where I'm at. Now I need the light again. There we go. Ta-da. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like Mo? Mo the hippo? Or Bo? Or Bobo the hippo? Can't do Nemo. There's already a fish. Some people are really quiet. So they're either not with us anymore or distracted. Uh-oh. I've officially gone to the other shapes. Can't construct the bag unless I quilt it. You like Mo? I like Mo. Mo the hippo. Okay, he has a name now. Unless someone comes up with something better. So now I'm coming up on the side where there's like nothing. So I spin it around. Bring the handle back over here. And I do this thing I call the scissor hold. I have to switch cameras so you can see better. So I take my finger underneath. So my ring finger is beneath. And then my pinky comes down and I kind of just hold it. Like this. In, pinky down, and like that. And then I hold the frame. So I'm becoming like a tensioner to keep that from just being sloppy. And I do that on both sides. So I got a ring finger and see how it just straightens it out. But we don't want to stretch it. We still want to bring it as close as we can to the edge with the top frame holding it down. And it's just a little hold, not stretching. And you'll notice I don't lower my needle because there's no foot, so you can see where you left off. And you can go out in the batting and come back on so you don't have to tie knots at the end. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed, slide the hoop, slide the hoop. Now we're no longer on the edge, so it's easier. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. Okay, I've gotten to a circle, and it's definitely not gonna be my best work because nothing's really matching. But I've decided I'm gonna do something to stitch that down. And you can just do a straight stitch right around the edge. And this is how you can do those quilts that they give you all the pieces already cut. And you can actually do like a fake blanket stitch just by drawing it. So what you're doing is you're pretty much writing the letter E over and over again. Coming down, coming in, going back out, coming in. Can you guys see that? No. I was frustrating you, wasn't I? Here we go. So up and over and up and over. So I'm literally drawing a blanket stitch. So this is applique as you quilt. See that? Now, if I hadn't stitched all the way around first, it would have looked just like a blanket stitch. What do you guys think? You like that? Thumbs up if you like that. So you can applique while you're quilting and not have to use a foot. So it's actually a lot faster to do that. So I'm in essence quilting, try not to stop very often. So that's why I had to go around some of the little parts, but not go around these ones that are separated. Samson the hippo. I don't know, I wanted to rhyme. It's the poet in me. God, not get my hair in there. So I'm just trying to slide it so that I don't have to stop as often. To just kind of, something's getting stuck. Oh, over here. I should show you what I did. It was like that, and I couldn't move it. I couldn't see it because I can't see through the machine. So I just had to flatten it out. Now I'm able to move over. And when you're learning, it's gonna feel really weird until it doesn't. Just like it felt weird to drive a car until it didn't. If you can drive a car, you can certainly do this. It's 1,000 times harder to drive a car. You have drivers coming at you. You have rules of the road that you have to follow. You have a gear shift, maybe. Got brakes. With this car, you don't have brakes. You just have go or don't go. And it is kind of like a steering wheel. Hi, Fiona. I don't know if we have any gents in here today. I haven't seen well, there's probably some hiding in the background. Not everybody chats. There we go. So I'm not doing all of it, even though I would if I were making this for myself, not live. I'll give you an example. Like I did this. I think it's really neat to take your fabric and then follow around the pattern. Try to get to where you can see that. Maybe this one will be better. You get to see Mo. Uh-oh. I clicked in the wrong spot. This one is easier to see because it's dark with the light, but this one's really pretty. There's flowers in the actual fabric. So I went around the flowers. And so each one of these fabrics, I went around the design to create this placemat or hot pad. Fancy schmancy. But it's also what I use for coasters because I feel like it's bigger and you're more likely to, if you're going to spill, you'll spill on this instead of on a round little coaster. And there's Mo. Mo the hippo. He has a name. Now what should oh, the elephant. I have an elephant on the other side. We can call the elephant Ellie. Is that too easy? You guys got a better name for my elephant? So sometimes you might not want your machine drop down for this. Now, if I weren't, I'm going to just stitch my way over since I'm not making this as good as I would make it anyway. So I don't have to keep tying off because I at least want to make sure that I do stitch around the big pieces or the big swirls. Bye, Marlene. Oh boy, this one is leading me through a bunch of small ones. Not looking where I'm at, looking where I'm headed. Oh good, it stopped. So I do stop and move a lot. But I would have to with my hands too. I would just be going like this. And I'd be sore. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. That's not what you say when you do it without our hoops. I'm moving my fingers so I have more control. Now I'm going to stitch on the batting over to the next piece or area so I don't have to tie another knot. Another thing I do when I quilt like this, usually I go all the way around with the glue, which I didn't do. The bamboo batting is super forgiving. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. It is so relaxing, you guys, after you get it. I'm gonna come back, let's see, go over here. Do you guys want me to change cameras? It's not a very good view. I just want you to see the hand movements. Oh, I'm back to another circle so I can applique again. See how excited I get about appliquing? It's so much easier to do applique by machine embroidery style or applique or quilting. Well, my tongue tied. Now I can do another blanket stitch, or what can I do? What can I do? I need to come a little closer. See, because the needle was grabbing too much. So I was like, that's not going to work. You could also do a zigzag movement, which is very difficult. So I don't know if you guys ever want to do that. It wouldn't be my first choice. I'd be more likely to do things like this. You can come around, go all the way around the edge, come around again. Was that in your way? That was in your way. Come around again. So see how I'm just going around like a, what do I call it? Like a pebble. Except for I'm doing it on the applique. And now I can come in. And come back out. And join back up. So you can see you can add a lot of flavor to your quilts by adding appliques. Doesn't show up very good in here. The light's too harsh. It looks better than it does in the camera. All right, so I'm going to come back over here. I don't want to tie a knot. So I'm just going to come back over, cross over, and join back over here. Slip and slide. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. I say that to remind myself as well. Not just teaching you guys. Feels good to be quiet every now and then. I feel like all I do is yuck, 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 yuck. I've put some of you to sleep. If I've put you to sleep, give me, say it. You can say, yep. Because I've had several people call me and say, I fall asleep when you talk. That's not the idea. It's supposed to keep you awake. But I'll tell you what, I can't stay awake for my videos. Taking parents to dinner. Aw, Cynthia. How sweet. I wish I was being able to do that right now. All right, here we go. I'm going around the circle. Because I feel like it. I want to do a good job because this is the focal point. This is where everyone's eye will fall. And that just really is cool because you got blue going around and then yellow going around it. And if I don't stitch over here a little bit, then nothing. No big deal because it's bamboo batting and it's sticky all on its own. It's like it's holding onto the fabric, or the fabric's holding onto the batting. Any way you want to look at it. Tying a knot because I want to do this flower. Ugh. Let's see how fast I can do it. I just won't talk for a minute because I'm faster when I don't talk. Hop over. So these are stitches I have to cut. Notice how where I start, come around, and I'm going to go past where I started. So now that'll tie it. And this looks a lot better in person. Hop. I went around one of the circles. I should go around all of them then. You can go around twice. So I'm going to have to cut all those threads. Notice I have my sewing machine set so the needle always stops up. And you'll want to do that as well. There's no way. I don't think I have time to quilt all this and sew it. And when I mean time, it's like at some point I got to eat. It's only 4. Here, anyway, in Arizona. I'm actually kind of trying to stitch outside of it because I love how the yellow thread looks on the blue. Complementary colors, by the way. And if you're wondering what my stitch length is set at, is whatever the machine was set at. 2.5 millimeter stitch length. I'm going to prove it to you. I'll switch to the cell phone so you can see. And this is why I have trouble seeing sometimes. So let's see here. There's the stitch length. And you can see it's still set for a regular foot. I never lowered the feed dogs. Now I will. I totally forgot. So I frequently forget. I'll give you a little look. I will try to quilt with it tipped. Let's see. God, that's not right. Usually you can see better, not worse. Should do this without you watching. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. If only the whole time I could be like this and I could zoom, because then you get a much better look. So I'm going to look into little cameras that don't shake, rattle, and roll as I sew. All right, here we go. So I'm trying to sew outside of the yellow so you can see. And I'm not thinking about stitch length because I want it to be uniformed, and my brain already knows that. So just like when you drive, you kind of slow down and speed up, and you're not really paying that much attention to it. The same thing kind of happens when you do this after you do it for a while, but you do need to practice. Some people take it right away. I had one lady at a show, and she goes, "You don't know this, but last year you were right near the bathroom." And I was on my way to cry because she was taking a quilting class, and they gave her an 18-inch piece of fabric, and she broke 14 needles, and she'd only sewn about a 4-inch piece. And why was she breaking all those needles? Do you guys have any idea? Lowering the needle. Having the needle always stop down. Because when there's a free motion foot, there's still nothing really holding the fabric, and it moves like this. So if the needle's down and the fabric's moving, you're bending the needle. So I'm right. And if some people argue with me in their brains, they go, I'm not going to have my needle stop up. I don't care what she says. I love that feature. But without a foot, you can see where you're going. That's why I can be so accurate. And my elbows are down. My hand is resting, which is why I have more control so that I can be this accurate. And I'm not sitting directly in front of my machine because the camera is. So, and I'm talking, which uses a different place in the brain than that which I'm doing with my hands. So when I'm alone and no one's watching, I listen to movies that I've already seen before so I can visualize them. And I just quilt and quilt and quilt. And I don't get sore because I'm not lifting my elbows. No pushing down against the machine. So you see the little scooting that I'm doing. Elbows are still down, resting. My upper body's in resting position. No sore muscles. Go. And then I can move over to the next area. So just a little scoot here, a little scoot there. Slide. It's not a big deal. If you make it a big deal, then it is. the lack of pain and suffering is far worth the stopping and scooting. Bye, Mary Lou. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. Ooh, should I try this? See, this is why it pays to watch me go for hours. So we've already got an applique here. I want to make sure the fabric's under the hoop really good because I'm about to go over the applique. Since this is just mine now. So I'm going around this applique. There's a lot of thread already there. Those of you who are interested in fiber art, this particular technique will be interesting for you. I can't really see over the stitch. It would be better to position it so I could. But I think I did pretty good. And my hand was laying on the quilt, so I couldn't move it for a minute. If you ever can't move it, that's what it is. Something is stopping it from moving, and frequently it's you. So I'm going around the applique, and then I go over it. And now I'm going on, now it's heavy, that's a lot. The needle has to go in and out of the batting, the 2 layers of fabric, the fusible, and all that thread. But we're framing that satin stitch, which is still easier to do with a foot, the satin stitching. The Satinedge Foot was used for that. Oopsie. But remember, my head is cocked to one side. Now I can go like this. This is what I was excited about. Come across. Getting dizzy. I'm not liking it as much as I thought. It's not showing up enough. But it's not embroidery. We don't want to overdo the stitching on a quilt. Especially if you're going to wear it on a bed. Wear it on a bed. You like it, you guys? You're so quiet. Are you guys there? Did you all leave me? Are you all having dinner? So enough of that. I'm going to come out here. But you can see how fun it can be. It's really up to you how much thread you lay there, and you can put a whole bunch of colors because there's no starting and stopping in any particular spot. You can cross over where you've already been. You can't create a pucker. You can't cause your fabric to pinch because there's no foot. So the world is open to you on this. Now I'm getting over here where there's like nothing holding. So I spin the quilt around, slide the hoops over. This is the part where your brain might struggle. The first few times you have to move. Be like, how do I move? You just scoot the hoops. And try not to create a bunch of slack on the needle, but see how much it moves, and then it's still just there. And you look for the thread to come straight up and down. That means that's where you were when you were stopping. And that's where you will start. See how easy that is? I forget I'm live sometimes. A little scoot. It's like boot, scoot, and boogie. Now we're scooting Octi-Hoopy. Uh-oh. This is what happens when I don't get enough sleep. I get a little bit loopy. And when I'm quilting all by myself, like I said, I watch movies, but I don't watch the movie. I listen to it. Or I'll listen to music and sing. anything to distract myself from what I'm doing so that I do a better job. Oopsie. And that's because I'm just not wanting to readjust because the camera's right in front of me. So I explained why I stopped with the needle up. Right? Yeah. You don't need to lower it. Your needle can become damaged by lowering it. If you have a machine where it automatically stops down, there's a way to go into your machine and have it stop up. If you don't, what happens is the machine, while you're moving your hands and you release the foot control on a lot of machines, except for the long arm, those like mid-arm machines, like the Sweet 16, those stop right away when your foot is releasing from the pedal. But on your home sewing machines, most of them, when your foot is on the pedal, and that's that pedal that you're driving with, as you push down, it sews. And then if your machine is set to stop with the needle down, as you start to release, it drops into a lower gear and your hands are still moving really fast, but the machine starts to slow down while you're still moving. And so your needle can stub its toe on the fabric, and that causes needle breakage. This is the number one cause of breaking needles on free motion, is having your machine set to stop with the needle down. So I'm going to have a little sip. I'm going to turn the mic off so you can hear me swallow. Cheers. It's 4:30, 2.5 hours. I barely quilted this. We'll see. I need my glasses back on. You'd rather watch... Oh, okay. Good. I'll also like this for a little bit. And move that out of my way. Oh, wow. Who said that? Oh, Amy. I thought it was Brenda. I'm like, I thought Brenda went to bed. What'd she do? I've had people say they watch me while they're in bed. I'm going to turn this, unplug that. Keeps turning on. But you see, my elbows are getting a little sore. I really need something to put my elbow on. So I'm thinking of making something for quilting. This is actually good. All right, so now my elbow doesn't have a hard surface below it, and I can really lay down. And I really am laying down. Kind of, almost. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. I say that to myself every time I start, even when you're not watching, so that I don't start to creep my elbows up. If you start feeling awkward, like you can't get where you're going, your brain will just immediately lift your elbows so that you can do that. So you need to have that conversation with yourself. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. Everything loose, light hold on this. We don't push down on the pen. It's not really a pen. It's a handle. It's a guiding tool that is super, super easy to move. If you're having trouble moving the hoops, you're pushing down. You don't want to get sore hands. Loose, everything's relaxed. Elbows down, get up snuggled in, and shoulders relaxed and short. Have that conversation. And never try to learn this with someone watching you. That sounds funny from a teacher who taught 127 people and was there So they actually did really well, even though I was walking around. But I would walk around and see someone in the wrong posture and try to get their attention and say, let's give her a name. We'll call her, I'm trying not to call her any of your names. Let's see. I would say Jen. And they keep sewing. Go Jen, and they won't stop. They're completely oblivious that I was there. And they didn't want to stop. Become very immature when you do this. You become like a 2-year-old. I don't want to, no, you can't make me stop. Oh gosh, it's so relaxing once you get it, but you got to open it. But if you have these and you haven't tried them yet, this is a great opportunity to do this kind of thing because there's really no pressure. You're just making a bag. And if I can not do mine right, you can certainly not do yours right. You don't even have to tell anyone you made it. But you might go, "Ooh, baby, I'm telling everyone I made this because you did a good job." Because the reason most people fail at free motion is because your elbows are up and you're pushing against the sticky surface of your machine and your fabric doesn't want to move. And so if you're pushing down, your fabric moves really slow, and then you're pushing down and then you slip. Your stitches get small and then big and small and big. And it's all because you're pushing down. So once you don't have to push down anymore, your stitch quality or your stitch length is whatever you want it to be. Your brain just takes care of it. Just like when you brush your teeth and you're not aware that you're brushing your teeth. I mean, you know you're brushing your teeth, but you're not going up, down, left, right. You could even be planning your meal for breakfast while you're brushing your teeth in the morning. And then you're done. You're going later. You can't remember brushing your teeth because you were so unaware that you were doing it. So this is one of those times when I'm putting my finger down on the batting. I'm getting really close to the corner. And this you can avoid this by just doing what I said. Make the batting stick out 4 inches wider than the object that you're quilting. Then you don't have to stick your finger in the danger zone. But when you're free motion quilting without our Octi-Hoops, your hands are always in the danger zone. So an occasional assistance, just because I was deliberately not cutting mine the right way, so you can see if you do that, how I handle it. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. La da 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 da. Hi, Pearl. Well, you know, isn't it nice that these are able to be watched again in entirety? I hope the cameras are doing really well now that we're wired. I don't get to find out until after. And then immediately after, when you're looking at Facebook or YouTube, they're not in focus, and I freaked out. And it's because it's still like, I don't know, encoding it. So I have to like wait a couple hours. Hi, Laurie. This is, you've been wanting to see how I quilt something smaller than the hoops. So, and you're not the only one who's wanted to see that. So I decided to do that today. And somebody said they didn't care about watching the needle. They want to see my posture. So see, I just scoot and move. And I'm not upset that I have to stop because I'm not in a hurry. I want it to look good. And I get quiet when I have to think because I didn't know which way I was going to go. So I stopped talking. Because it takes different brain sections to talk than it does to teach and then to do. So I get really tired. After one of these sessions, I have to eat right away. And then if I lay down, I'm like out. That 6-hour one, I drooled. I drooled on my pillow. I did. Well, you can watch it on the replay, Larry. You got your ink? Woot woot. So much fun. Oh, that's what I was going to show you. Someone was like, what ink are you talking about? So we sell ink. Let's see. I got bottles of it. I'm sorry, Tink. I caught her. She's been so elusive today. They get really weird. They're like, she's talking to me, but she's not talking to me. Who's she talking to? I love you. I know there's no bed up here for you. And you would just start digging, and everything would fall on the floor. All right, I'm pretty sure I got ink in here. Oh, no, I brought them out there. Well, there's inks in this, and this is what I suggest you guys get, these little containers when you're working on something, and you can pour the colors that you're going to use on something, and then if you don't finish inking in that moment, you can close them and bring it back out again, and not forget what colors you used. So if you haven't seen the inking, I was actually thinking about inking next week and just inking, not sewing at all. Would that upset any of you if I didn't sew? If I just like inked? I just feel like it. It's been a while. Are you getting sleepy? Oh, gosh, I love you. I'm so sorry that I do this every Thursday and ignore you for hours. This is usually where she is, but I can't quilt with a dog in my hand. So you gotta get back on your spot, okay? No, I don't want it. I don't even have anything to show you that I inked. Oh, yes, I do. I already did show you, but I'll do it again. So when I can't remember who said it either. So if you know who you are, you can say it was me. So you would like it if I did that, Sandy? All right, cell phone. Those are inked. So that fabric was white. The peach one, that was plain white fabric, if you can believe it. So the first thing I did was an all-over wash, and then I created this texture so you can see the different shades of peach in there. So these are techniques, and then I just started drawing because I'm an artist. And so, when I do this, I usually want to give you a pattern. But I plan on just inking for the fun of it. I'm like, no pattern. I'm just going to draw and have a little fun. And then the next week I can make it into something. Or whatever. I don't know. But this is the Babbling Brook, and this is the one that people have taken classes in. This is what Brenda took to do the schloff that she inked that you can see inside of her, or inside of the school. And I'm probably going to have you do that with the eagle. Instead of printing the eagle onto stick and rinse, since we're out of it, I'm probably just going to have you ink the eagle and then embroider over it. I don't know. I'll let you know. Okay, so try not to make you dizzy. And this is my quilting through 4 layers of batting. That's becoming my elbow rest for quilting without getting my elbows sore. I need to step away for a minute. I've had too much to drink. Oopsie. I'd say talk to each other, but you can't hear one another, but you can chat. I'll be right back. Is Chase blocking you? Come on, let us through. Move. 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 I like that spot. I should have got more sleep. It's all my son's fault. Oh, I walked right in front of the camera. Sorry about that. Hello, everybody. Thank you for letting me take that moment. Okay, so for those of you who walked up, that's what I say at shows. So I guess you did walk up to something to get on the feed. Let me see. I'm going to show you in a minute. I got to get further over to do it without having to tie a knot. I know I can switch to this one. There we go. Light's a little strong. Okay, so this is how we use this. We have one frame beneath. It's loose. And you can see my machine is elevated. And this is Mo the Hippo. So you can see how it lays. It could fall off. Oh, no. But it doesn't because I don't push down. So if you push down, you're going to be falling off your machine a lot. I'm actually able to pick this up, lift it up, even though there's no clamps or screws. You grab the corner and bring the corner together, and it allows you to slide it around. And then your dominant hand, if you're left-handed, you'd be over here. If you're right-handed, you're over here. If you're left-handed, I suggest a table that comes out so you can put your hand down, because that is what I'm doing here. I'm resting my hand on this frame, the one that's beneath this one. Oh, you can't see that hand. So my hand rests on this frame like that. But over on this side, this camera blurs what's far away from you. So elbows are now also down on the table. So elbows down, shoulders relaxed. And then practice sliding it around before you start. So you can see it moves real easy. And I can even quilt without even using the handle. So I'm going to do a little bit of this. Couldn't even talk. Without, so you can see my hand is here. I'm not using both hands. I'm using only my non-dominant hand, which is something I didn't think I'd ever be able to do. But you can. People do really well using their non-dominant hand first. So I'm going to switch cameras so you can see the right way to do that. So if you're going to sew with one hand, you need to put your head on your palm. If you don't have the ability to, because you're paralyzed on one side, then it doesn't seem to matter. But if you have the ability to use your other hand, your hand needs a job, and your job is to let your head rest on it. And I'm serious. So people would struggle at shows and they would go, let me try. And I'm like, oh God, should I let them try? What if they don't do well? Once I started having people use their non-dominant hand, they all did well. So I could leave the machine with someone who's never touched it and go to the ladies' room and come back, and everyone is in shock. And then I have to remind that person that they're using their non-dominant hand. I go, do you realize you just did all that with your left hand if you're right-handed? And they go, oh, that's right. And then they're like, why would I ever use both hands? Because they're so relaxed from sitting like this. And sometimes this is what I do. I'll just sit like this. I mean, you can't get sore if you're resting your head. But you got to believe first that you can do it. And now you can see I'm just crawling. I'm just like, my fingers just walk over. I'm not pushing down. Bringing the corners together. That's it. Light touch, super light touch. The same amount of muscles it takes to just hold fabric. You shouldn't be physically active in it. It should not feel like you're working out. It should feel like you're taking a nap. And there's no other method of free motion that is this easy on your body. So while you're struggling when you learn, it is so worth it, because you can quilt for hours without ever getting sore. You'll get a lot more accomplished as you do this than you would ever doing it any other way. And I can say that after teaching quilting since I was 17, and I'm 58. Yeah, I did contact the company, Larry, about carrying the intense pencils. I let them know that I was told that other educators got them free. So we'll see if I get them free for the testing at least. And then I let them know we want to carry it. So we'll do a full-on test, just like I did in the VIP group. I tested a whole bunch of inks recently because we're going to add more inks to our selection since they don't have all the colors in the world in there. I'm so relaxed. It makes you want to nap. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here because this is what I would be doing more of if I weren't filming live with feeling like I shouldn't go 5 hours. So let's see this one. I got to move out of the way of the camera on this one, unfortunately, but it's a great view with the right light. The yellow kind of looks messy. It looks so good not on camera. All right, but you can see I've done a lot of stitching over here. So that's, let's see. Well, first I got to applique these because I forgot. Or I did not forget. I am remembering that I did not do that. So this is applique free motion using a stitch and coming back out again. You can hear the sound of the machine. It sounds more labored. That's because it was the fabric, the fusing, the 2 layers of fabric, the backing. No, that's and the batting. There we go. So another thing you can do is you can do what's called echo quilting. This is probably not a good area because I want to do this shape. If you're going to do a lot of this, you would probably use a 80-12 needle and go with a thinner thread, so you can do more stitches close together. But it really looks cool when you do lots of little stitches really close to each other. You can really see the yellow thread in this light, but it looks so much better not on camera. After I'm done, I'll show it on another camera. Maybe another one will look better. All right, so that's how I would do the whole bag this way, just stitching a lot, but I'll never get to the sewing part. I think Larry got hers from Target. If you don't want to wait for us to carry the intense pencils, I can also supply a link. I'll supply a link in the school. And then when you order from that link, I actually get a little tiny bit of money if you want to do that. Because I'm on the affiliate program. So when you guys watch me and then I say there's a link in the description below, you're actually supporting the show by using our link to go buy it, even if you don't buy it from us. It's something that was created because educators like myself, help a lot of businesses sell their products. But it was Larry that told me about the intense pencils, and I can't wait to try them out. So know that I haven't tested those yet. All right, I got to stop being so creative in there. But I know I didn't do all the circles yet. Yeah, we still have another one. All right, so I'm just going to waste a little thread. Oh, I need to go here. If I'm keeping at any continuity, I'm getting there. As long as you guys aren't bored. I love that you guys chat with each other. I gotta make sure my head isn't in your way. And I wouldn't know if I didn't. If I did it, unless I stop. Are you guys getting bored of seeing the needle part again? Because I know one of you wanted to see my posture. So I'm just going to use the scissor button, even though I just know, see, there's no thread at all. So if I try to now sew, it's not going to pick up. I mean, if it does, it'll be astonishing. That's how rarely it works afterwards. So let's see. To give my sewing machine a better chance of it actually picking up, the bobbin thread is short as the machine cut it. I'm holding a good amount of tension on this thread, but putting my finger down on it. Do one stitch. And teeny tiny piece came up. If I keep sewing, it's just going to pull it right back down. So the way to work that is to get your tweezers and grab it. And now you can sew. So if they just made that like a 1/4 inch longer, I would use my scissors all the time. And what I mean by scissors is the scissor application in the machine. By the way, I did not baste this in any way. There's no safety pins, no spray starch or spray adhesive, no fusible, no liquid based, just fabric laying on the bamboo batting. This is why I carry bamboo batting. because it's got a lot of static cling. And because the Octi-Hoops don't use a foot, there's no way you can pucker the fabric. So there's no need to baste in any way on little pieces like this. So next week, I think, right now, that's how I feel. I didn't get anything done for Easter. And there's not enough time for you guys to watch something and actually make it. So I thought, you know what? All this sewing stuff, there's a lot more preparation. And I have to create a whole bunch of videos for our website. So I'm going to need a break next week. And what is the thing I like to do to rest is to do art. So right now we're sold out of all the batting in already pre-cuts. So I will cut. We have a bolt, and that's because they were out for a long time. So we have a few little sizes. We might have the cribs. I think we only have cribs left, but I can cut. So until I run out of my bolt, I'm going to be checking with them to see if they're caught up on all the back orders they had, because they finally did get their product in after being sold out for 3 or 4 months. 3 months. And I tried not to stress her out by going, please, I'm out of your batting. I don't want to use my whole bolt. The bolt's for me. A lot of the products, because of our trade, because of the change of leadership in our country and other countries, policies changing, tariffs, all that stuff, has caused some of the ingredients used to make our products and other people's products impossible to get. They're actually, some of them are just sitting in tankers or what are they, big ships in our harbors, and they're not allowed to unload them. So if you're wondering why some things are back ordered for a long period of time right now, that's what's going on. I was told I wasn't going to get our Octi-Hoops for 2 months, and they decided to give me the plastic that they had instead of to somebody else. So we are going to have our Octi-Hoops in a week. We were just about to sell out, which is no fun. I don't like selling out of things. I hate saying I'm sorry you can't do it right now. I know what it's like to want to create. Like, you guys order all that thread and all that ink. How do you sleep while you wait for it to get to you? I'd be like, oh my God, I'm dreaming of all the colors that are on their way to me. Sometimes I will, even though I can buy something wholesale, I will go buy it at retail just so I don't have to wait. I'm almost done with this stitching, and then I will make it into a bag. Because whatever I say I'm going to do, I do. And I'm anticipating that the inks that we're out of should start coming in soon. Good news on the horizon. We're not completely sold out of ink, but there's like a couple colors. We only have one left. So if you think you might want to draw your own fabric, so we can literally make this fabric with the inks, and you cannot tell there's any ink on that. The fabric is soft, and you can do whatever you want with it. So here I'm in an impossible situation. Remember that this is an advanced thing, you guys. First off, I want to get off and kind of look and see which one. This one you can see. Nope, you can't see all of it, but you can see some of it. I'm getting hungry. I need to drink some of my shake. So while you're looking at that, I'm going to mute my microphone. And give you that to look at while I satisfy my tummy for a minute. So you can see the little swirls and echo quilting that I did in here. I don't know how well you can see that. It looks so much better in person. I will be doing some photography on this, and I'll share it in the school. Those of you who came in later, he is now Mo the Hippo. He has a name. I don't know what to call the toucans. We got 2 toucans. What should we name them? They each need a name. I'm trying to figure out what I said that made you say that, Ellen. That's its true purpose. But what did I say? I forgot. I watch other people go live and they do the same thing. They're like, what did I say that made you say that? Are you talking about the batting, Larry? You can get whatever you want. You said you want me to call. I'll call you. And you can get whatever you want. I have a whole bolt. I can cut whatever size you want. So look at the batting on the site and I can help you tomorrow. Because after the show, I'm usually starving and need to sleep. And more than normal because I stayed up till midnight and got up at 6. That's not enough hours for me. Mostly because I work in my sleep. So I'm cutting all my carryover threads, which is where I tied a knot and then hopped over. Nothing worse than missing. Oh, that's right. We're not lining. So you get the same stitches on the back that you have on the top. See how pretty that texture is? So if you've ever wanted to have just look like you quilted a design and you don't want to trace the design, then you use your fabric with a design on, and this would be your back. So you do all this decorative stitching, and then this is the side that people end up seeing, and they think, oh my gosh, how did you do that? How much tracing did it take to do that? And you go, it was just hours and hours and hours. There's just so many little tricks that make you look amazing. I made this bag for myself too. So I have This is what my makeup's been in for years, ever since I made this. I bought this fabric years ago. And I was just like, oh, what am I going to make out of it? And then I finally turned it into this. So this is the same technique that I'm showing you now. And what I'm trying to convey is that if I didn't want the colors on the outside, I could have done this and made the outside of the bag this side. And all of the stitches are on there. See that? So you end up with just all this quilting and nobody can tell how you did that. They just think you must have traced it. But all you did is stitch on the fabric, and this was intended to be the right side all along. But that's not what I was planning when I did this. I love the butterfly fabric, and it is a gusseted bag. So the bottom opens up, and so every morning when I do my makeup, the bag sits open all on its own, even though there's no gusset. But we can also do gussets. There are so many things you can do. All right, so let me see if I've done enough. Because I committed to going around these bigger patterns, even though I want to do all of it. I think I've got it all. A little bit over here I didn't. Oh, that's right. That's what I was going to show you. How am I going to do that? How am I going to stitch right there? Ugh, it's terrible. Should definitely have had the batting 4 inches bigger all the way around. But I didn't. So what do you do? Guess. I'm not showing you until at least one of you guesses. Is anybody brave? Nobody? Oh, it's really nice that I didn't. Oh, are you complimenting the stitching, or are you mad at me for acting like that? So see how I can add batting? But if you do, and you have your back already on there, then you can't really do that. But having it near it so that it's not, so you just got to make sure you don't stitch through that batting. Anything to add to this overall size of this to help you. You can take and go to the corner. It's funny, there's a scene in a movie and they go to the mattresses. I was thinking of that when I said go to the corner. So you just kind of think, okay, the point will allow me to go all the way. Now I can go all the way. And this, even though it's not stitched in, because of the static cling of this batting, gives me what I need to control this here. And if I couldn't, I could actually stitch an extra piece of batting along there, but just always leave 4 inches batting all the way around. And then you can quilt something smaller. You can lay your batting out and throw a whole bunch of little quilted pieces that you've already pieced, like this. You could lay out 15 of them on a big piece of batting and then do your back afterward, or lay the backing down and then have these be laying down side by side with a little bit of space in between. There's so many ways. All right, here we go. I'm starting off the edge. And half of this, or more than half of this, was done with the feed dogs up because I forgot to lower them. So it's not about winning a race. It's about being accurate. Do you see how many times I move the hoops? I'm going to switch to the other camera. So you can see the scoot. Just a little bit of a movement. Bottom frame, then move the top frame. Stopping and starting. If it's all about being fast for you, then this will frustrate you. It should be more about being accurate and feeling good physically when you're done. So you don't end up being sore or needing spinal surgery because you've compressed the vertebrae in your neck from sitting improperly, or working through the pain that you feel between your shoulder blades and ending up needing fusion therapy there as well. This is actual injuries that can happen from free motion done traditionally with your hands pushing down like this and moving side to side with your hands pushing down. So the quilt's actually floating. I'm not pushing down at all against the machine. Now I'm going to stitch over to get back over because I have one little area that I still need to quilt. Isn't it something? Once you just have to, number one, you have to believe that you can get to this point, and then don't give up till you do. And don't make it a big deal. Try to have fun with it. The more you think of it as fun, the more likely you will succeed. And know this, I'm not tricking you. This is a live segment. You're seeing everything live. So there's no way I could be editing any of it. I think that's partly why people like going to the shows, because they see you live. I got this corner. This is when I'm going to take my finger and be there. And that's it. That's all the quilting I'm doing, and now we're going to make it into a bag. Even though my heart wants to quilt the whole thing. Still better than what my life used to be like at shows. When I'd only do teeny weeny little 4x6 inch pieces of fabric. And I'd have all these piles of fabric everywhere, and it never really ended up being anything when it's finished. At least I'll have a bag. And I love the fabric. Oh, I still have one circle to applique. Can't leave one undone. That'll bug me. You like the stitching, Pearl? I can skim over it with my cell phone a little bit before I make it in a bag so you guys can see better. And I had the cell phone set for the circles before, didn't I? I may not have. I'll do one with the cell phone being right there, in case I didn't. I was wondering why I was so hot, and I had batting in my lap the whole time. I'm going to sneeze, so I got to mute myself. I switched the camera instead of turning on the mic. I'll try that again. Not too bad. I think I'm getting better at this. Oopsie, no, I don't want to leave. I guess I have to just tip it. There we go. Where's my hoops? Totally forgot. This is the bigger one, and it's going to go beneath. And this is the smaller one that drops inside the other. And then you bring the corners together with your non-dominant hand without pushing down. You should be able to slide it around. And then you have your handle, and you rest your hand on the frame beneath it, like that. when you write, and then you write with your fingers. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. As you move up the quilt, you just do a little scoot of the bottom frame and then bring the top frame up. And then scoot, and you're just scooting around. It's the best description I have for it. Bottom frame, top frame. And you want to have what you're going to quilt close to the frame because it's where the top frame holds fabric down the most. So if you go all the way over here and try to stitch, then you're then you're going to be more likely to have the needle lifting the fabric. That tripod wasn't locked in place. There we go. Okay, I need my glasses. All right, here we go. Oh, you said bless me for the sneeze. Thank you. I didn't bring my, oops. Did you hear that? No, it won't do it again. Okay, one more time. That's my machine saying I didn't lower the foot. So if your sewing machine doesn't tell you, it just eventually you'll get better at not forgetting. If you get big loops on the bottom, oops. This is definitely not perfect science here. I think somebody came up with a really good camera for this, though. It's just another camera we need to buy. In the end, I don't know how many cameras I'll own. Some are better for live and some are better for recordings. I can barely see. This is, once again, the phone is in front of me and I got to look at the TV. Bring the bobbin thread up and see how teeny that is. So I need to grab it because you can't start with it that short. Got to pull it out and make sure it's usually about 3 to 4 inches. And then your finger down on it. Don't hold it in your hand. A lot of people grab hold of their threads in their hand and it causes problems. I'm looking around the phone. That's why that's the first stitch that didn't start where I wanted it. Stitch away and then cut your threads. For those of you who came in later, you can also thread these through a hand sewing needle and take them through and in between the back fabric and the top fabric. And you don't have to tie a knot. And that is how people who try to win awards handle their ends. And the goal is to not have to stop. Try to see if you never have to tie another knot. All right. Can I do this? It's so little. Do not look at the needle. You look where you're going. So if you're looking at the needle, you'll notice the fabric is lifting. You don't know where I'm going. So you're, as a viewer, you're watching the needle. But just if you're not watching and you're the person, you be looking over here, heading in that direction, planning ahead. And then you don't see the fabric lifting like that. Isn't this a fun way to applique? Yeah. It's one of my favorite things to do. And then just for the heck of it, you can also, just quilt. This is stippling. And stippling is never sewing over an area where you've already been. It's used as a fill-in when you don't really want to have to think too hard. And since this is definitely not an award-winning project here, thought I'd show you that. And I'm going to be quiet and you can see how much faster I can quilt. And that's doodling. And that's the longest I was quiet on any of my live feeds to date. It was a nice little break. What else was I going to show you? Oh yeah, I'll do some pebbles for you. So a pebble is a circle, and you go over it again, and then you go where they join together and go over it again. Go where they join together and go over it again. Create a pebble. Go where they join together and go over it again. Where they join together, go over it again. So if you say that while you're doing it, and if you tell yourself or say out loud, I want to sew circles. Do not say pebbles. It has no idea what a pebble is. And then you'll sew weird shapes. So you gotta say, I want to sew circles, and your brain will help you sew a circle. Speak out loud. You're telling your brain what you want. You don't have to go fast. You can go slow. But if you go slow, you move your hands slower. It's definitely good to start out slow. But you'll notice the entire time, I never once had any issue with breaking needles. And I'm not thinking about my stitch length because it's irrelevant. There's no such thing as stitch length in free motion. Did I give you guys enough of the quilting? Feel good? Feel ready to do it? Now I need to make this into a bag. It's 5:22. 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like doing that, finishing it next week. So I'm really hungry. Let's see, how long would it really take me? Only because I'm a little hungry and overtired. I planned this yesterday. I didn't plan on my son keeping me up till midnight. Would you guys forgive me if I didn't turn it into a bag today? I do have a video I can link to show you how to sew it into a bag. And then next week, I could already have all of the stitching done. We'll see. I have yet to not do what I said I was going to do. So before I sew a bag, I prepare a zipper. And I always buy my zipper longer than I need. Are you guys tired? You ready for me to stop? I will quilt this more too, so I'll be happier with it. And then next week I will finish the bag and then I'll ink. Thank you guys for being sweet. I wouldn't mind stitching more, but I'm really hungry. And the dogs need to be fed. Because when I went 6 hours, I started in the morning. I appreciate you guys giving me a little slack. My son suggests that I don't say what I'm going to teach. Just go live. And then that way I can change my mind depending on how I feel. I'll be so much happier if I quilt more of it. And what I would like to do, I'll talk about it a little bit, is I'm going to bring in this color, this strong peachy color. Something like it, and go around all the flowers too. And I think it would be really neat to bring in that shade of yellow over here. This one is really blurry all of a sudden. That's one of the cameras I think I need to replace. It's pretty old. So what I'd like to do is bring in these colors from this and then go around all the flowers that inspired that, because that'll help you tie in the applique to the actual overall print design. Do you guys agree? If when I'm doing this, I decide to go live and you're a follower, if you're already subscribed to my YouTube channel or to my Facebook or in the school, I'll just go, hey, I'm going live. I'm going to finish this quilt and I'll just stitch. It'll be not scheduled. So, you know, if I don't do that, it's because I'm doing it in my jammies. So with that, you will find out, because as always, I will let you know what I'm up to. I know that we're going to be doing more videos. There'll be videos in between the live coming up soon. 4-minute quick videos to get you guys even more excited, and so you don't have to sit here for 4 hours with me. This wasn't 4 hours though. 3.5 hours. I'm feeling it. I had fun though. Did you guys have fun? 8:30 in North Carolina. Yeah, some of you need to go to sleep anyway. It's funny because I'm thinking it's 8:30. At 8:30, I'm usually checking out. At 9, I tried to sleep last night, and I go, Vincent, I'm going to sleep. He goes, just one morning, and then it was midnight. Your dog needs to go potty. All right. Well, I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining me. And with that, I will see you next Thursday. If not sooner, if you're in the school, you never know. I might do a coffee time. That was kind of fun that day. Kind of help you guys navigate through the school and through the new site. Oopsie, where did I click? There's a smooth way of ending. I want to be smooth. That's funny. That's not smooth. That was funny. I don't even know where I grabbed that. Where did I get that from? I should never have said I wanted to be smooth. I have no idea how I even got that thing. Oh, well. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Love you guys. Bye.